Hey, it's Stephanie with another tutorial. Buckle up, kids. This one is long, but it's good. We're going to make some happy mail, making some 3D Shadowbox cards. So I hope that you're ready to craft, and let's get started. So what I'm using today is I'm going to be using the I'd Rather Be Crafting set from Echo Park. I end up not using, oh sorry, you can hear the traffic outside. There's a lot of traffic for people who should be in quarantine. Anyways, I am using the Echo Park I'd Rather Be Crafting kit. I end up not using the stickers later, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this piece of paper down. We have to cut it to 8.5 by 11. If you are already using 8.5 by 11 paper, that's perfect. Then you don't have to do anything. But because I'm using 12 by 12 paper, I'm going to cut it down to a regular size piece of cardstock. We're going to cut it again. This is just an easier size to start with. So I'm going to cut it on my trusty Fiskars trimmer. It's a really good investment. I like it better than using a knife and a ruler. And once we have this cut down, we're going to cut it down again. We're going to cut it into two pieces because this part needs two pieces. So for the frame, you're going to need an 8.5 inch by 8.5 inch piece square. And then you're also going to need a 2.5 by 8.5 inch piece. So you just cut 2 inches off the long side, and then you have the pieces that you need. Today I think we'll start with the Shadowbox portion. So you're going to need the 8.5 by 8.5 inch square piece. And we're going to, oh, that's a pretty side too. I hate double-sided paper because then you have to choose which side you want. I think I'm going to go with flowers because flowers always win in my mind. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to score it on each side at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches. And this is going to make the frame part of our shadow box. So I'm just going to do it the first time, and then I'm going to speed through the other 4 sides because it's really not that interesting. I'm just scoring, and it's fun. It's more fun if we do it quickly. At least I think it is. This is actually 2 times faster. I'm a really slow person when it comes to scoring, I guess. When we need to score it 4 times because we're going to fold it over to make that 3D frame part. It's actually really cool. So you'll have to make sure that you score it on each side. This is not the best paper for you to be able to see all the score lines, but they're there, trust me. I'm also doing 2 short score lines at 2.5 inches and I think 6 inches on 2 opposite ends. So only on 2 opposite ends you're going to need that. And that's not for folding, that's just a guide for when we have to cut. So don't panic if you don't get them in right away and you burnish first. Just put them in after, or you can even just pencil them in. Because like I said, they're just going to be a guide for us because we want to cut 2 diagonal cuts to get that nice sort of mitered look that we want on the frame. So it's not the end of the world. So here's the template I made because you're not going to be able to see how I'm cutting it. So you can go ahead and pause it right now if you want to look at it. It's also on the blog if you want to print it. So the first I get out the big honkin' scissors because I always grab the big honkin' scissors first. Not a great choice for something as finicky as this. So I went to my little ones, my little sharps. In retrospect, those little tabs are probably not essential. I thought that they got in the way more than they helped. So I think if I do this in the future, I'm just going to cut them off instead of trying to make sure that they're all notched and in place. I don't think that they helped with the stability of the frame. So now I'm cutting up those short little guides and I'm doing an angled cut, if you see, so that the ends of it have that little angled cut because that's going to be the mitered part of our box. So if you look at the template again here and look at what I've cut, it's pretty similar. My tabs are going in another way, but like I said, they're not essential. So all you need to do is cut off that gray part and you'll have the basic shape. So now what I want to do is I'm going to use tape. You can use glue, but I'm going to use tape because it's just faster for video. and I'm going to use my score tape, but you can also use red line tape. And I'm going to put the score tape right next to the fold marks because we want it to stick down really well. So I think I'm just using 1/4 inch score tape here. So I'm putting them on the diagonal parts. Don't do that. That's a mistake. I end up having to take it off later. Luckily, it wasn't stuck down too well. So yeah, don't do those little diagonals because you'll see in the future that I made a mistake. But I kept it on there because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I'm going to show you how to fix that. Because a lot of people think that if you get score tape somewhere you don't want it, you have to start again. It's not true. So I'm going to roll over each of the 4 parts. And I'm just rolling it over and sticking it down. And it gives me a nice 3D like frame around the actual card. And it's a really cool effect. And it's really still lightweight. You can't really send this in a regular envelope. I usually don't put them in envelopes. I usually just surprise people with them. But if you want to send them, you could make a box, a small box. And maybe I should do a tutorial on that so you have that with you. The ends that we cut the diagonal lines in, those are the last to be rolled in because you want that diagonal cut and it looks like a really nice mitered corner and you didn't really have to do that much for it. And because I want the box to be really stable, this is me just take your fingers with the oil on them. You can actually just roll off the score tape if you do it slowly and gently. In order to make this stick, I decide to use white glue. I usually use white glue to do the whole thing, but like I said, I didn't want to wait while I was doing this video, but it backfired, so I should have just used my glue. So I just put some underneath the mitered corner there, and I'm just holding it down. It's going to make it a little sturdier because without that, the corners aren't being held together by anything. So I just wanted to make sure that it's not going to fall apart when I give it to somebody because I don't want to give somebody a chore with my gift. I'm like, hey, you're in quarantine? Good, put this card back together. It's not what I want to do. Some of my friends might appreciate that though. Anyways, so if you see, I'm just going to speed through the other one and I just put the glue on beforehand and ended up sticking my box to the mat. This is just a comedy of errors at this point. But once I hold them down and glue them together, now we have the Shadowbox part of our 3D card. It's very nice. In order to make it stand, we're going to have to take that other piece of paper and we're going to make a stand with it. So you're going to take the 2.5 by 8.5 piece of paper and you're going to score it. You're going to score it at 1 inch, 2 inch, 5 inch, and 8 inches because we're going to make a nice little push flat stand. I don't know what's taking me so long here. So just at 1 inch on the right side, 2, 5, and 8. You're going to have a little 1/2 inch flap on the end, and that's what you're going to use to glue your stand shut. Okay? When you fold this, you're just going to fold it a little different. That 1 inch score line that you fold, you want to fold it up, backwards, the opposite direction of the other folds. Okay, so if I start in the middle, which is that 5 inch, and then I fold over the 2 inch in the same direction. But that 1 inch score, I want to fold up because I want to make an arrow shape with my paper so that when you push it flat, it stays flat, but then it springs back up when you want it to stand. So I'm going to put that little flap down, and then I'm going to use some tape, and then I'm going to glue it together like that so that it makes an arrowhead shape, which you'll see once I glue it together. I'm just going to put the glue on the tape on the right side so that it doesn't have any weird seams on it. I am pretty finicky about the seams. I don't want to see the seams. Nobody wants to see the seams. So I'm going to put some tape there. And then I'm going to just press it flat so that I get that arrow shape. And I'll turn it on the side here so that you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to burnish that. Really nice folds keep things nice. So you see how I have that arrow with the little V shape on the bottom. That's going to help our thing stand. So I'm going to use glue this time because I got sick of the tape and making all those mistakes. And I'm going to try and center it as best as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to stand up. It's nice and thick. So I'm just going to glue that on and press it on the wrong side, and then it stands up, and it's really cute. And now I'm going to take the time and I'm going to decorate it, which is so fun. So I have some liners here, and I have a 3x3 and a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I like 2 layers, but you don't need them. And if you have a really nice paper on the inside, I thought it was a little too busy for what I was doing, but you don't even need to put a liner in at all. You can just start filling it with the goodies that you want it to fill it with. The good thing about this is that it's a 3D card, so things don't have to be flat on them, which I didn't do. I used a whole lot of foam tape. So once I put this in, I'm going to decorate it, and you don't need to hear me talk about it, so I'll put on some music and you can enjoy. And there you go. I hope you found this tutorial useful and entertaining. So if you want some more information like measurements or that template, you can visit my blog at sbassblog.blogspot.com. And I hope to see you there. Give me a thumbs up if you want to see more stuff like this, and have a great day.